Hello, everyone. If you're great but invisible, if you're great expert but invisible in our digital world, yeah, you can stay underpaid and misunderstood. And that's why today we're talking about very important skill, how to communicate in the right way, how to express yourself. And here with my colleague with Svetlana, we keep going with these very important topics, how to show your expertise everywhere in the world. Hello, Alexander. We
And
have Alexander joining us.
right now, whoever is here, you can write in one word. If you live right now in a crisis, just write crisis or put a plus. If you live in a harmony, put two pluses, because both are very good. Crisis opens your mind, expands your skills, gives you an opportunity to do something differently. If you live in harmony, you have the same opportunities, but you approach it calmly. And that's the only difference. Our life is constantly giving us a challenge. It gives us an opportunity to do something different. But when we get into the state of panic, oh my God, crisis is coming. How much will it cost me? Who and what am I going to lose? At this point, you close your opportunities to one opportunity, to be in a state of being frozen or to explode with emotions. But when you look at the life, wow, that also is possible. I didn't know I can create something like that. Look at me. What a powerful creator. All that I'm doing is showing right there in objective reality for me. Thank you very much. Now I can analyze my level of communication, my ability to analyze and logically communicate, confidently communicate, adequately communicate with everybody in my field, and then I can be okay, because we feel okay when we feel okay with others. Very often people feel really great by themselves, but once you have somebody next to you, crisis, crisis, crisis.
Yeah, in our world, it's very important to understand we are building our image and brand like every second, and communication is very important skill that we have to be used in the right way. And of course, when we're talking about communication, it's not like talking a lot, yeah, but we're talking about with ability to express our value, our expertise. And we live in incredible time. On a distance on our finger, we can show ourselves like in front of 1,000 people. I still remember when I started using social media, especially TikTok. It was so powerful to attract a different audience. And when you have this opportunity to go out socially and speak freely about your expertise, and you have 100, 200, 500 people joining you, it's very interesting. Wow, I have a special noise. It's been for a while, but I didn't know it's going to be today. But let's just keep going, yeah, about the communication.
That's communication. Universe is communicating with you all the time. What kind of communication? You need to decipher it, right? So you can exclude it. Crisis, right now in Vasili's space, there is a noise, or confirmation. Yes, we can choose what communicate with and what not to communicate with. And what happens when we do not choose those communications? When they come at you and you take them for real, you take them as if it is the last truth in your life. Financial mistakes. All of a sudden, somebody gives you an advice, somebody tells you something will happen tomorrow, something will happen in a month. You start selling things, buying things, you start putting your money in the wrong places, financial mistakes. Then we have wrong choices. What do you think I should do? If somebody gives you an advice of what you should do, that advice colored with their date of birth, time of birth, place of birth, geography, biology, the day, the food they eat in the morning, the day they lived, of course, parents, teachers, preachers, everybody in your head, everybody in somebody else's head, different teams. So that advice of this team might not match with your understanding. Information overload. Lately, communication is no longer communication, because communication comes from the word communion. We commune with each other. But lately, it's going at you as enough information overload. And then information without communication, was it? This is no longer communication, it's more of a deposit. And when you have deposit overload, you have no space for next deposit. And therefore, you have panic, because panic is the reaction of the physical body. It's not that you're scared of something, but the physical body cannot metabolize food. You have panic, you have pain. If it cannot metabolize information, you have the same reaction, but it happens not in your stomach, it happens here. Fogginess, I don't know what to do. And then trusting the advice of the person without any validation. For example, I have 2 degrees, higher degrees from governmental institutes, universities, yes. And then I have diplomas from who knows how many different things, because I am a person who's a lifelong learner. I just love learning. I think life is so much more interesting when you know where to look. Sometimes we don't know that other things exist, we look like that. But some people go to a 2-week course and now they're an expert in the field, especially in our field. It's a soft niche. You talk to people, you communicate. That's what we're about. You communicate. But how? That's the question.
Yeah, and in order to start to speak up loudly with your expertise, you really need to pay attention on your fears. Yeah, everything is related to our fears, and the most important of these fears is fear of judgment. Yeah, we can divide on different type of fears, and of course, like judgment is like everything like reading in our subjective reality. We've been talking for a long time about subjective reality, objective reality, but all these fears, they just sit there, they live inside of our head. The next fear is fear of rejection. Yeah, when you go and speak and deliver your speech, you really have this kind of fear. And all the time when I'm working with the experts and working on this ability to speak about the expertise, I tell them, guys, we're not working in a circus. We really don't need to be loved by everyone in this world. If you know your expertise, if you know your value, just go and deliver it to other people, and you're gonna be successful very, very fast. And of course, like the kind of fear, I'm not perfect. This is the most that I like. The most that I like the fear to work this kind of fear. I'm not perfect like as you are, for example. I'm not perfect as this expert is. And that's why this is like the biggest illusion. And I like to dive in this kind of fear and work with all kind of expertise that gonna just start their like expertise life or in social media. Because sometimes people who was born in 1917 and older, they used to go like offline presenting themselves, and it's a bit easier for them. But when we talk about going socially online, it's something different for them, and that's why we are working on this kind of both sides, working on the body to have this kind of ability to hold this kind of pressure that is coming from the phone, because most of us, when we have our heads in our phones, like either is like Instagram or TikTok, or maybe even the camera, you have to record something like very special message. You can see this kind of struggling, like, no, I don't want, I'm not perfect, my voice is not perfect. And the fear, like accepting your voice, is just incredible stuff. It's so funny when you can sit and listen one and third time the way you speak and accept it. This is a big deal. This is a big workshop that we really work with all kind of experts in our life, and that's why talking, speaking, expanding yourself, it's incredible important stuff, because we live in this kind of fast world that we really need to pay attention. If you cannot speak about yourself, who's going to speak about you?
Well, but speak about yourself out of fear. It's that kind of speech.
Yeah.
You cannot express yourself clearly because inside your head, those questions that Vasili was talking about are running. So first and foremost, it's good to identify the fear. And what I've done at some point of my life, I've created mechanical cards with different animals, because we have tricksters within us, and those tricksters, they make us think that we are inadequate, insufficient. So I pulled the card. It's a Scorpio, the fear of initiative. And I myself, I'm not very easy on initiating conversation. I'm very often reluctant to come and talk to somebody. I'm waiting to be invited into conversation. Why? Because my body works this way. I've tried many times to initiate, and sometimes I come out as a very strong personality, and people get intimidated. So I've learned that this is not my fear of communication. It's my persona that comes out in a way, you see, like this Scorpio is like a warrior. And that's true, because this is how I am. My mission is to be a warrior, but you can be a peaceful warrior and you can get the same result. And so sometimes I am scared of surprises. This is what Scorpio says, not me. I am scared of surprises. So when you have that card on the other side of it, all the questions and all the suggestions, and therefore I get armed with my deadly tail before anything even happens. So if that kind of thing ever happened to you, think twice. Who is talking? Are you talking, or that scared animal within you? And we have three brains, three abilities to communicate with the world. One is reptilian reaction. This is the one that gets scared very easily, and that is who I just presented to you. And then we have a mammal. Mammal brain is the ability to feel, to long for somebody else's approval. That's where the criticism is so harsh. And this one is the llama, and she is scared of not being fulfilled. And isn't that the very mammalian way of perceiving yourself? I'm not doing something well for somebody. They will not like it. But we truthfully never do anything for anybody. It's a social understanding that we are useful for others, maybe, hopefully, but it's a subjective reality. The truth of the matter is what we love, what our soul desires, we do for ourselves. Once we do something for ourselves and we are satisfied and fulfilled, and we feel great about it, everybody is in our field feeling great. And they might ask about what do you know, or how do you feel? And that's where you actually give that which you are not willing to give. But most of the times we try to go inside because we feel vulnerable. And animals, by the way, never feel vulnerable. They either feel that they are too small to fight and they run, or they're big and they fight, or they freeze if they can hide. So our reptilian brain gives it to us, but our human brain, neocortex, starts creating stories about it. That's what animals don't have. We have all the tricksters inside, and they just react. And if it's a bird on your card, you'll see a bigger vision, and it'll give you a better advice. But in the human world, we create ideas about what we feel. We feel something in the physical body. Immediately, oh, I'm not good enough because he said that. And that creates avoidance and misunderstanding, because at that point, we are not acting as a human being. We create the meaning, but the action still comes from the physical body. So we either become reptilian or mammal or bird. So we either run away or freeze, or we look for belonging and longing, or we fly away and we see the whole world, but at this point, nobody can reach us. So that kind of communication probably happens to many of those who are listening and maybe listening later on. And the core of this is, like Vasili said, I'm not enough, I'm not good enough, I'm not sufficient enough. And all of that is not true just because you, by your birth, have enough to survive. That's already happened. You have arrived. In this moment, you're still alive. We were just talking before this broadcast that is enough to be happy. But no, I don't have enough clients. I don't have enough money. I don't have enough houses, not enough car, not. But for somebody, enough is this, and for somebody, enough is this. So the comparison is what is the biggest problem in our communication, because as we start sharing, oh, I got this, oh, and I've done this, and immediately, and I could have done it, but I didn't. But the truth of the matter is, wow, that person done it. How interesting. And I've done something else. And maybe that is much more interesting for this person, that he can learn from me, or he can understand better through me. And that's where we open up our heart, not to prove yourself. not to avoid criticism, not to scare somebody because I'm stronger and bigger and I have more, but to simply share, communicate.
Yes, communicate. Yeah, and we have greatest approach in order to start like communicating in right way, in order to understand how every one of us gonna start communicating in different approach. And of course, we're using in this case our date of birth. Yeah, because our date of birth is not only the numbers in our birth certificate on a passport, but it's also like the story of all kind of energies. And of course, some of us, they really can speak through logic and structure. Yeah, they need logic and structure. And if you communicate with them without logic and structure, they cannot understand you. Some of us like can communicate through emotions and some meanings. Yeah, all kind of stuff we put in this kind of communication. Some of us only communicate through results and actions. If there's no results, I cannot understand you. If there's no results, why are we wasting our time? Yeah. Some of us can communicate through kind of inspiration and creating the vision. Just do it this kind of. Let's just do it this. Can you see this picture? No, I cannot see this picture. I can see only the results. And that's why we really need to find out what is my core pattern of my acting, thinking type, communicating style. And of course, if you're working something in a management style, in a management field, you really want to manage other people, you really need to understand your style of communication. In order to grow your company, you really need to understand all your kind of managing stuff, how they communicate. And recently, I had the opportunity to go through the team building process with one company, and there were like four managers sitting with different date of birth, different type of thinking. And as a result, after like 3 hours, one touch, second touch, right now they can really understand each other without even telling the words. They can see the goal, look at each other. I got it. Let's do it. Less words, better communication. And guys, we with Svetlana, we are professional in couple things. Most incredible things. It's in your subjective reality. What is it is your biggest illusion, and how to build your communication in the right way in order for others to understand you. Even on the parents level, even on the teachers like coaches level, in order to better communicate with your kids, you really need to understand what kind of personality they are and what's the best approach. And yesterday, I had a broadcast in Russian on TikTok, and there was one teacher. She joined me, and she was asking questions. Wow, I've been like teaching for 25 years, and la 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 la. And when I started asking about your type of thinking, no, she couldn't answer. And that's why we have a revolutionary knowledge right now in any field of our life where we can improve our communication. Because opportunities they come from other people. If you can attract these opportunities, if you can hold these opportunities and build great relationship with everyone on this earth, you're gonna be the greatest communicator.
And as Vasili mentioned in the beginning, the crisis does happen through communication, but crisis also could be relieved, the relationships could be restored through the same communication. The only difference between these two communications is understanding who you're communicating with. And we use the date of birth to first see what kind of personality and what kind of thinking and what kind of action, what person is desiring and what exactly they're doing about their desire, because those two things could be very different, not could be always, most of the times are different. Rarely that your desires connect with your actions, because we have conflicts, not only conflicts within the numbers of our date of birth. This is just an interesting way to look at the things, just a
Yeah.
diagnostic tool. But also within your family, your father does one thing, your mother does another thing, your siblings do another thing. Who does the right thing? Everybody think that they do the right thing. But in objective reality, when you meet all of these people and you see the results of everyone action, maybe not everyone action is satisfactory for you. Of course not, because you have your own mission. And according to your mission, you will do the action that might go absolutely against everybody else's mission. So what can we do? For that, we have competencies. We learn how to communicate through 9 competencies, because we already talked about number 9. It's the Every number within your birth date is the number, and you can look what competencies you already have innately. It doesn't mean that you're great at that. Maybe you are not great because you've never tried it. But at least when you look at your numbers, you will understand what are the competencies that are possible to open up. So, for example, one of the competencies that everybody should possess is the competency of being in charge of themselves, being in charge of your conversation, being in charge of your thematics, what the theme of your conversation, what are you talking about? You know how you come to somebody and they go like, oh, you know, yesterday this happened, and the day before this happened, and today this hurts, and tomorrow this will hurt. This is the topic. Competency number 9. This is the topic. How do I feel? Where is my energy? And what can I do about it? If you can recognize that this person is now using this competency, which is about how can I make myself feel better? And how can I gain energy? And what are the ideas that I should put into action? This is the competency number 9. If they use it as a thematic of your conversation and you are interested in talking about communion, in talking about expansion, then you turn this topic about health toward your topic, which is, and what can we do about it? Where can we go? What can we learn? Where are the things that you need to do to feel better? All of that is possible. When you have that first competency, I am the leader of my life, and therefore I'm not wasting time sitting and listening for half an hour and being frustrated because I wanted to discuss business with this person, but half an hour went to this. Or, for example, within this communication process, the competency of building relationship. You need to understand who this person is about and what they're about. For that, we also have 9 personalities and 9 types of thinking. So if you understand that this person is all about the image, that first thing you say, you look great, you look amazing, what a new suit, it suits you so well, and so on. Or you say, wow, I've seen you, your last broadcast. Oh, I've seen your pictures. You look amazing. You've done amazing. You said amazing. This is opens up that person's door. Otherwise, they don't care what you have to say. Or people who love being comfortable, feeling love from everybody. You start a conversation with them. All they want attention to me, to me, to me. I want it from you, and I want this. And you know, this person didn't give me this, and this person didn't give me this. And you, knowing how to build relationship, look at them and use competency 3. You analyze. In this conversation, in this communion, I hear love and comfort words all the time. And I can give them that. I can give them love, not something material, but a space in which I accept you for who you are. I can hear it. What is uncomfortable? Let's make it better. Let's take that away from our conversation so we can proceed and I can be in charge of it, the first competency, and so on. But of course, understanding those relationships between the numbers take time. Therefore, in the personal consultation, we give you the quintessence of who you are, the quintessence of who are the people around you, who are your team at work. How can you communicate with people so they get it? Because people don't have resources to get it. They can give you what they can, but they cannot get what you give them. And for that, the open heart, the understanding is extremely important. The energy you come with, your charisma, your ability to project your voice. Because if you're talking like this, nobody will really listen. But if you project your voice, if you open your energy, when you reach a person with your personality, you wake up their personality. So communication is not just about let's talk. Communication is a skill that has many skills packed in it. How skillful are you? And again, if you listening right now, you can look at your birth date. Just put down your time, day, month, year. Look at these numbers. And I just numbered some of these categories, some others in our other broadcasts on our YouTube channels. But you can ask question right now. If you want, you can even put your date of birth in our chat and we will give you the response, what kind of communicator you are and why certain things are happening your way and certain things happening against your way.
Yeah, guys. And we've been for 4 years, we've been working with very closely with the business people in order to help them to improve their communication approach. And knowing only data birth, we can give the kind of little adjustments that gonna help you to improve your communications in order to understand other people and to build the greatest teams, greatest like companies in any field. Because when you understand on a distance, we're talking about communicating even on a distance. When you know the date of birth, you already know how to communicate with these people. This is like something powerful. This is something like you can start thinking it's something mystical, but this is like all reality because you can see the results right away when you can see like 10 people talking to each other with different using different words. You can see the efficiency of this. Otherwise you can talk, you can like put a lot of pressure on your communicating stuff and nobody can understand you because there is no energy in your voice. And that's why communication is also about the energy that you really want to put in each word that you're using. That's why working on your body is very important. Work on your vocal ability, it's also very crucial. And the first exercise what I do with my clients, we find the right teacher how to practice and work on your voice because it's very important. And that's why we invite you to ask questions, invite you to find out what's going on inside of me. Yeah. What's the kind of more pluses what kind of have, and also what kind of minuses I can have in my date of birth that I cannot see it in my subjective reality. But in objective reality, you can see right away your results. And we're judging. We're not talking about is it good or is it bad. There's also room to grow. And that's why we're talking about the ability to grow as fast as possible using this kind of energies and understanding that just Svetlana was explaining about all these kind of competencies, how to use them in the right way in order to achieve your goals, in order to build great relationship and to be like fulfilled with all the kind of great stuff in our life. Otherwise, it doesn't matter where you live, what country, you still can feel this kind of miserable situation that I don't like it, I don't like it. And we have a solution for you, 100%. That's why we invite you to be more active with us, ask questions, and we invite you to use our Telegram channel as well. You can join us there. And we're really looking to help any questions.
Right. And I want to share these 9 numbers because if you have your birth date in front of you, you can right now from this
Mhm.
conversation have a very clear understanding. So if you have one within your numbers, this is the understanding of how to be in charge of your space, of yourself, or your timing, or your communication, or your relationship, or your work, or your choices. This is about being the leader within your own life. Yes, of course, you can ask questions, you can communicate with people who have more experience, but the decision is made by you. And that decision is based on your strategic approach to life because strategy is something that you do long term. We usually underestimate that. So, ability to see the bigger picture and be in charge of that picture unfolding your way. And if you have number 2, for example, it's about understanding other people, being able to feel what other people feel, being able to be sensitive enough to even read their body language, ability to recognize words in the foreign language and make sense of the languages you don't even know, because this is the empathic way of being within life. And if you have 3, you are able to be very caring for other people. But you need to understand what caring is for them, not for you, because sometimes we overimpose caring and people get annoyed and we become annoying with people. But we know a lot with the number 3, people with number 3. We can analyze, we can stop and calm down and settle the issue and be really nice. But when we are irritated, it's better not to approach us, right? So people with number 3 have that ability, and you can develop it in the way that you can communicate logically with the sense of why you are doing this, because this is the place in this competency gives you an ability to know who you need to talk to, what about, why are you even talking to these people, and who you are in this conversation. who is coming through that conversation that you're bringing. Do you want to continue with the four and the rest of them?
No, keep going, keep going. Yeah.
Okay. So
You have a great flow right now, like a storytelling.
if you have four within your numbers, that means that you are a person of many layers and you can see all the imperfections in this world. And why not to fix all these imperfections? The only problem that you start going for one imperfection and you see the next one and the next one and the next one, and by the end of the day you're not satisfied because none of the imperfections were fixed up to your perfected vision. Therefore, in the conversation and communication, that skill allows you to set the goal. This is what I'm talking about. This is why I'm talking about it. And my priority in this conversation, not to pay attention to all the problems and all the issues, but pay attention how I can fix one of them. So it kind of relaxes the field, and now that person can feel and know what I'm talking about. If you have five, you're lucky, because that's exactly the competency where you can know what to wear to look appropriate, how to speak, how to make your conversation interesting and expensive, how to bring your brand forward. At the same time, it's a superficial level of conversation. This number does not give you the depth. This number allows you to communicate with many people. And therefore, this competency is great, but it's not the only competency that allows you to have that communion with people. And when you have number 6 in your date of birth, this is a wonderful number because people feel comfortable with you. People feel that you love them, and you do have this unconditional love. The only problem with this number that sometimes they talk too much about how comfortable they want to be and how uncomfortable they are in this moment. So with this kind of skill, you can find the way to make a person comfortable in communication. For example, Vasili was talking about charisma and energy. When you talk online, for example, you can talk in a grape, and this is a very small talk, but you can also talk into orange, and that's a little bigger talk, but you can also see the watermelon in front of you. And when you talk into watermelon, the bubble of watermelon is much bigger, so the energy that you're projecting is much bigger. And this image, I hope, will help you to notice, are you talking to the grape? Are you talking to the orange, or it's a bubble of the watermelon? And it's not about making the voice louder. It's about the impulse that comes from within. And that we're going to number 7, because that's the impulse from within. This is the skill of bringing the energy all the way up so you can communicate from your throat. Sometimes people complain, I have this terrible feeling like something is holding me. By the way, it comes from the childhood, when the first time you were standing on a little chair and reciting the poem, and you forgot, and everybody was looking, and you were like, oh my God, I don't know how to speak, I don't know what to do. And that it's like a stone, a heavy thing.
Yeah.
And so many people complain about it. All you need to do is to bring your attention to that part of your throat and just feel it, because that is the feeling that wants to be felt. By the way, I always recommend people the set of books. It's called A Little Spot of Feeling. I don't remember, Diane Amber, I think her last name. It's an amazing set of books. She has many, many, many different ones. I own a couple. And these are books for children, but this is for your inner child, the one who got stuck. So when you walk, for example, you bring the energy up and it pushes through your throat, and then you're able to speak. So it's good to move before you speak. And then if you have number 8, it's about being consistent. It's about being able to keep at what you're doing. So in your work, for example, you'll do your work, but in terms of communion with other people, you're not losing the trend. You know your goal, you know you have the energy, and you keep going at it. You bring it back from different angles, because maybe what you're talking about is understood by you, but not understood by the people that you're talking about. And with all the rest of the competencies, you being a leader of conversation, you know who you're talking with, you're analyzing, you bring the priority in, and you start bringing the images. Images help a lot to go through the conversation, like I just did with the grape, orange, and the watermelon. And then You make people comfortable and they start loving you because you're not pressuring them with your energy. You're giving them different ways of comprehending things. And then through your ability to speak and initiate people into understanding and being consistent, number 8, you bring all the ideas together. And that is the part of the communion, which is number 9 within your birthday. And this is, I know you. I know a bit of everything. 9 is the summary of all the numbers before. And I know I have ideas, but I also act on them. It's not just conversation. I have enough power. I have enough courage. I am a peaceful warrior. I move with you toward this next goal. And these 9 numbers are the savior because sometimes when you don't understand where the energetic hole appeared, where all your energy goes and nothing comes back. This is that competency, one of those, or maybe a couple of those, that you do not develop yet. It's not a problem, it's an opportunity. It's the point of growth. So you get this understanding, oh, that's where I'm losing it. Okay, so you can look into these competencies for anything and everything. Today we talked about communion and communication and ability to share information in a way that it's being received and receive information in a way that you can give it back as a gift, not as a criticism, for example. And this is my gift, our gift for you. Vasili gives you a good, very good structure of how you can look into this through the business perspective. And I'm giving you the storyteller structure because for me, everything comes from unconscious part of us. Of course, we do not communicate and miscommunicate because we want to, or we become harsh. We communicate from the within ourselves, and within ourselves, little tiny children stuck in dark places are still living. Little tricksters that drive us nuts. All of those, they're within.
Waiting for us.
Yeah.
Waiting for us to open the door. Open the door to start communicating.
Yeah.
Yeah, guys. Yeah.
The whole of you, not just that part that has to be smart and logical, but with the whole of you, because chances are the scared children of the other person in front of you want to communicate with those scared children, and no, it's not scary anymore because I am adult and I can move the conversation where I want it to go.
Yeah. Stay tuned, guys, with us, ask questions, and looking forward for next week as well.
Very well.
Ciao.
Thank you very much. Ciao.
Ciao, ciao.